Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, Brains and Beauty. I'm a PhD student studying brains and also a beauty lover, and on my channel I focus on creative conscious consumerism. So part of that is actually my Shop My Stash series, and it's a type of themed Shop My Stash where it's also quite minimalistic, so I pick out from the color cosmetic categories one product from each category to fit a particular theme for that month, and then at the end of the month I come back, I tell you my experience using those products in my collection, and then we shop my stash for the next theme. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start by going through the theme in March, which was Gothic. Sometimes the themes are more like a style and sometimes they're more of a fantasy. So for the month of March, I wanted to go with the style of like gothic glam makeup. Okay, so let's start off with the lip products. So first I had this kind of vampy lipstick from MAC. This is in the shade Diva. And this very much fit the theme. Like this was a beautiful, deep, vampy red. And I enjoyed wearing it. I actually really like wearing this shade in general. So I used this 7 times in March, and I just like to do this like looking at how my Shop My Stash makes me use my products compared to the previous year. And throughout the entirety of 2021, I had also used this 7 times. So I used it the same amount of times in March this year compared to all of 2021. So I did like wearing this alone. It went really well with this kind of red-black smoky eye that I did. And then I also actually wore it and topped on top of it the shade Gothic for one of the looks that I did. And it just added like a little purpley hue to it, which was really pretty. So I enjoyed wearing this. I mean, I really like wearing this shade even with just a super simple look, like just black eyeliner and then this vampy red can look really pretty and almost wearable just because I guess like the darkness of my eyebrows and my eyes just lend themselves to these type of tones. So I usually like wearing this kind of shade anyways, but it was fun to play with it along with the more smokier and like darker looks. Now, as I said in the introduction, normally I would only pick one type of lip product for each month, but um, I could not see myself wearing this purple lipstick for any other theme other than like a gothic kind of look because it's like a purpley gray. So I thought maybe I could throw this in and that way at least I could maybe wear it with Diva. Kind of this like a center highlight and this around the rest of the lip, so at least I'd get some sort of use out of it this year. Because in previous years, the only way I would wear this is like, you know how sometimes you have those like makeup playtimes? That's what I would only wear this during. Like if I was just in the evening smudging makeup all over my face, I'm not trying to make a beautiful look, I'm just trying to have fun and play and it doesn't matter how it looks. I would like pull out this purple lipstick, but I never wore it like seriously. Like I never wore it when I wanted to feel pretty. I only wore it once in 2021 and I'm sure it was one of those makeup playtimes. But the thing that really surprised me this month is that I actually found ways to make like wearing this, I actually felt pretty wearing this. So I wore this 5 times in March. Um, I actually tried doing the thing that I initially put it in for, which is mixing these together, and I didn't like that. I don't know if I have a picture of that, but I just didn't like the look that came out of it. But I did wear this once, and I topped it with UV as like an iridescent topper on top of this, and it pulled the look in so nicely when I had UV on the lids, and then I had, this and UV on the lips. It just, I don't know, it just was such a beautiful pairing, and I felt really pretty in that look, even though it wasn't like your typical wearable look. It just was really nice. So I felt like I really liked that, and that was actually a tip from one of you guys. I'll leave the comment, up above, but yeah, I love that tip because it was just so much fun to have that like match like your lips and your eyes. I definitely see myself using more like iridescent eyeshadows on my lips as well. And then another way that I like this is I did mix it with this brown liquid lipstick from NYX, and this is in the shade Dubai. And basically, I think, yeah, by the time I post this, because this is again going up mid-April, um, I will have talked about this in my project pan, but basically I'm panning this, and so I did mix these two together, and they made a beautiful, like, mid-tone purple grayish mauve look. It was just gorgeous. So I did like these pairing as well. And then there was also a look that I did where it was a pastel eye, and then again there was UV involved in that look, and then I had this on my lips, and I actually just felt so pretty in it. Like I felt so I used this 5 times in March, and it was just so much fun stepping out of my comfort zone and really finding a way to enjoy this type of color. So on that same note, actually, I want to talk a little bit about the Prismatic Amethyst Mini Highlighter from Becca. So this is the only colorful highlighter in my collection, and this is similar to the idea with the purple lipstick, where I kind of treated this purple highlighter as a very just for fun makeup playtime moments, not for actually wearing out or anything. And it's interesting because I realized that that's really not the case for this one. When I look at my numbers, I used this only 3 times in 2021, and I also used it only 3 times in March. But I think because, again, like I was saying, whenever I reached for this, I'm sure I was already doing a really wild, just super colorful out there, fun, just not necessarily actually trying to make it look good, but just to have fun and play, just to kind of finger paint my face. So in those situations, I was using this, and in my head, the look was already not something I would wear out, but just something that I would have fun with. But this month, given that I was actually trying to make looks that I would enjoy wearing and just kind of really getting a feel for how I would enjoy this kind of gothic style, I was wearing this purple highlighter even with more kind of toned down, just pretty gray, purpley looks. And what I came to realize was that is not like an icy purple. This is actually a really wearable purple. It has just the softest hint of lilac, but it's mostly just a brightening highlighter. It doesn't have an icy shift to it or is super neon-y or colorful. It's not like if you put UV all over your cheeks. This is a very soft, pretty purple highlighter. And honestly, after experiencing this in my Shop My Stash, I'm realizing that I would love to wear this on almost even no makeup days. If I just want a little something, if I'm wearing a purple outfit that day, this would just give me the slightest sheen of color, but mostly just a brightening highlighter effect. So it was really pretty, and I'm just happy that I learned that this month because it definitely changed how I think about this highlighter now in my collection. So yeah, this was really fun to play with. I will say I didn't reach for it too much given it was only 3 times. And again, to give context to all these numbers, I wear makeup, I would say around 7 to maximum 15 times a month. So I don't like to push myself to wear it more than that. I just like to stay within that range. So for me, anything around the 7 uses or more is I wore that a good amount of times. If I wore that less than that, then that means that I really wasn't wearing it every time I did my makeup. And so this one I only wore 3 times, but I think that's just because with the gothic theme, I often didn't really want a highlighter to go with the looks, so that's why I feel like I didn't reach for this as much, but I actually am thinking of rolling this in again for another month and just getting to play with it more because it is a really pretty purple highlighter and it could go with other themes as well. Okay, let's talk about this blush. So this is Breath of Plum from MAC. This is one of my favorite blushes. I used it a lot in 2021, so I used it 38 times in 2021, and that's because I was panning a peach blush, and if I ever wanted to neutralize that, I would tap into this blush and also use that with it. So I can't compare to that type of usage in March. In March, I used it 9 times. Again, 9 times is really good for me, and I really did love this blush. Wearing it this month, it's just a very nice plum blush. It's not too pigmented where on my fair olive skin it would feel too jarring or too deep for me or I'd have trouble blending it out. No, it's a sheer buildable kind of formula and I just feel like it blends in really nice to my skin. So this has been a treat to have one of my favorite blushes in for the month. Okay, so now let's get into the palette usages. So I chose the Sultry palette from Smashbox for this month because it's just this perfect gray-toned, purpley color story. And then I built this picture frame palette to go with it. Now, I used this palette 12 times in March, and in 2021 I used it 8 times. So I use them more in this month, which is really great just to know that the Shop My Stash series is making me use my products more. And this is one of my favorite palettes because I really, really love cool tones. Now in the first week or week and a half of March, I was wearing this a lot on my eyes, and I kind of realized that this palette just makes me feel so pretty. Like, that was the effect that I was having. These are just such beautiful tones. They go so well with my skin tone. It just looks like natural shadows on my eyes. And I don't know if it's just like my coloring, but like the purples and blacks go really, really well with like my dark eyes and dark eyebrows. So I just feel like this is definitely my type of palette. And I think this month made me realize that, like, in my head, whenever I say, oh, I need to quickly put on like a neutral eye, I always go for my neutral brown palette because it's just kind of the standard. Like, you know, when you're learning to do makeup, you're like, that is your basic go-to neutral look. But I think this month made me realize that, like, my neutral look for my skin tone is this palette more than even the neutral brown palette, because whenever I put that neutral brown palette on my eye, majority of the shades, it looks like it's still adding color to my eyes because it's in contrast with what's naturally on my eyes and skin. Like, it's brown tones, and I don't have that much brown in my skin, and I don't have it in my eyebrows or my eyes. Like, I know technically you can't have black eyes. I have very, 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 very dark brown eyes, but they basically look black. So it's almost like brown actually stands out as a color on my eyes, but these kind of gray, blacks, purpley shades actually don't. So in a way, I think this month made me realize that, like, from now on, when I really just want a quick, like, no makeup, this is my type of color to go for, and this will likely be the neutral palette that I reach for more than my neutral brown palette. And that was just like an interesting thing to learn. But with that all being said, with how it made me feel pretty and it was just totally going with my skin tone, I kind of realized this isn't fitting the theme that I meant, you know? Like, I wasn't feeling gothic when I was wearing this. I was just feeling really pretty, which there's nothing wrong with, but I wasn't feeling like I was giving any kind of edge or like leaning into that gothic glam style. So I was thinking, like, how could I lean more into that and really get the feeling for that style? And I found I did two looks. So one of them was like, if you just Google Gothic Glam, the main eye look that everyone does is like this red smoky eye with like black all over the lid. So I did that. I pulled in this. So this shade and this shade were actually not in this magnetic palette when I originally made it. But because I realized that that deep red was like part of some eye looks, I ended up putting this in here. And I used this black that I had put in the palette all over the lid as like a metallic black, and then I use this black brown in the outer V, and that made a really pretty like smoky red look. And I used Diva on the lips, so it all went together really well, and that did make me feel gothic. Like, that was a gothic kind of look. And then the second time that I did another more like really trying to make it a gothic look, I used the shade Gothic from Clionadh, and I did like this more artsy eye look. I mixed it with Inglot, Duraline, and then I just did like a spiky web kind of graphic liner eye look around my eyes. And I also wore the nails that I've made using the Gothic over like coffin style press-on nails. And I also tapped on Gothic over Diva on my lips. So it was like a full like monochromatic Gothic multi-chrome look. It was really cool. And actually in that look, I ended up hitting pan on Gothic because I was using it for that whole eye look. And so, yes, I can achieve like a Gothic style makeup look using these products, but I really have to lean into it. Like, I really have to lean into the smokiness or like the graphic liner with symbolism of something Gothic. But I wasn't doing those kind of eye looks when I went out, and so I felt like I really wasn't hitting the mark of like merging the Gothic style into something that I would wear. And even in my wearable looks, I was trying to lean more into that kind of deeper tone. So actually the most used shades in this palette in March, I used Stone 7 times, and then I used this dark brown shade 7 times as well. And that was in March, but in 2021, when I had used this palette, my two most used shades were Stone and this like light kind of shade. And I actually only used this light shade once in March. So you can see that Like in 2021, I used this 7 times and this 6 times, but in March, I was using this one and this one that much. So you can tell that like I was leaning more into the darker shades of this palette than I normally do. But all I was getting out of it was just looking like glamorous, because we often do, when we do our makeup, like glamorous makeup, have a dark outer V, so it wasn't really making that gothic statement. And my clothing is not something that would make that gothic statement either. So all of my outfits are quite colorful. So all that was like turning out was I just looked like I had a glamorous cool tone smoky eye rather than a gothic eye on. And then one day I had the aha moment and I was like, okay, I think what I can do is I made a kind of pastel gray look. So I brought in this eyeshadow that I had previously made similar to this one. They're both shadows that I'd mixed myself. And this one is like a pastel gray, because this stone gray is not pastel-y. It's very much like a mid-toned type of gray shade. This has like white pigment in it, so it does come off more pastel. So I used this and then I used UV over it, and I went in with my purple pastel lip. And what really brought in the darkness, or what I like used to give that symbolism of something being a bit more edgy, a bit more gothic, is I just painted a black set of coffin nails. And that was perfect. Like that literally, I just needed that little bit of something to push it in that direction, and that was enough for me. And it was just so cool to see how that changed everything, because after that, I would, for all my looks, I would wear black nails with them, and it was perfect because it gave that edge, and it didn't matter how colorful my outfit was. It didn't matter if I didn't do a super smoky look with these colors. I just needed something to tip it over a little bit, and having black nails was edgy enough or different enough that it would pull the rest of the things that I was wearing into that gothic, edgy realm. So yeah, that was something that was really cool to experience. I even did a colorful look, which I reached outside of these colors for a mint matte shade, because I was doing this like prompt on Instagram where it was like a witchy spring breeze kind of prompt, and so my look was like the spring witch, and so I put the mint shade all over the lid, I put the purple in the outer V, I put UV all over the lid, and again in that look, I paired it with black nails, and just like that, like it just made the whole look make sense for a more edgier vibe. So yeah, this was a really fun month for realizing how much my actual clothing and my style and even my nails as accessories influence the final like look that I do. It's not just about the makeup, there's so much more that goes into interpreting what the look is trying to achieve. And so when it comes to that gothic theme, I've really found that having black nails really pushes it into that edgy kind of zone, and I honestly had a lot of fun just having that little like sprinkling of edge. Like I will wear black nails more often now with my colorful outfits because I just feel like it spices it up. I don't know. It was really fun to have that combination. So on the note of style and makeup, I do want to mention the YouTuber, the Style Stumbler, and she makes videos kind of similar to what I do on my channel. So if you love Shop My Stashes or Project Pans or Conscious Consumerism, definitely check her out. She's doing a low buy right now. But she also does these cool videos where she kind of takes those concepts that we have in the beauty community and she applies them to fashion as well. So like she shops her closet. She has a video where she builds a custom palette that's like clothing inspired because she focuses on a different piece in her closet each week. So yeah, it's just a lot of fun videos on her channel, and definitely, she kind of bridges like the relationship between makeup and style, and she's just very introspective. So definitely go check her out. I will leave her channel in the description box. But yeah, definitely this month made me realize how much style did matter in terms of the theme for the makeup that month. I think the only product that I didn't really mention is the Marc Jacobs liner. So I only used this twice, and it's just a black eyeliner for the waterline, and I threw this in because I thought if I was doing super deep dark looks, having nothing on my waterline would be like look a little weird, but I found that it wasn't that bad. Like I did wear this in some of the really dark smoky looks, but in majority of the looks I didn't feel like I needed a black on the waterline, and since it's not my preference. Like I prefer just not having anything on the waterline. I don't like the feeling, I don't like the application process, and the final look is like meh, you know, it's like it closes my eyes off a little bit, but it also completes the look, so I get it. I'm not like against having this in my collection, but again, it's one of those things that I'll only apply it because if I take really close-up eye looks, it's nice to have something on the waterline, but yeah. So I'm not mad at myself for only using it twice, but I'm kind of actually happy that I didn't feel the need to have a black on my waterline this month while still being able to achieve like the Gothic look. Okay, so that's it for those products. Now let's go put these back and we're gonna shop my stash for the next theme, which is the mermaid theme. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like, this is definitely a me theme. This is not gonna be a struggle for me to, you know, figure out outfits or anything. Like, these are my colors, the greens, the blues, the purples. I'm so excited. So let's go ahead and shop my stash. Okay, actually, before we get started, because I don't want to forget to show you guys this, look how cute this purse is. Like, are you kidding me? Is this not like the cutest purse you've ever seen? It's literally so beautiful, and you have the pearl as part of the zipper. I got this during December from my Secret Santa, and it's just such a pretty purse. I just feel like it's gonna go so well with this month's theme. And I was kind of debating, I was like, should I just put my makeup into this and have it be like my mermaidy makeup bag? But I do my makeup more at my desk, so I am still going to use the glass basket, but I did want to show you this. It's just so pretty, and I will be wearing it as an actual purse this month, just because I want to like fit with the theme, and it's so cute. So for the eyeshadow palette this month, we're going to go with the Huda Emerald palette. So this palette has all of these beautiful like sea greens, the teals, it has some olives and golds. I just feel like this is very much a mermaidy green palette vibe, and I'm so excited to play with these. Like, I love these types of tones. Now we are missing some tones. We're missing the blues, we're missing the purples, but after I shop my stash here, as usual, I'm going to go and I'm going to build a supplementary palette to go with this, and that's where I will include more of the blues and purples. But let's put this in as the palette for this month. And then actually, so I have 4 glitter liners in this music box over here, and I feel like I have to include this glitter liner in this month. This is literally called I'm Half Mermaid, and it's like this gorgeous turquoise blue shade. So it's a really beautiful, sparkly, glittery blue shade. And it's a really cool formula too because it's like a peelable liner. So once you're done, you can just peel it off and you don't get like a glitter mess everywhere. So this is really cool, and I'm excited to play with it this month. In terms of blushes, so I don't think the hot pink will go with this or the kind of soft pink. I'm kind of thinking of going with this like more of a corally, pinky, peachy blush. So this is what I was actually panning last year. And I'm thinking of going in with this for this month because corals really go well with like the mermaid theme. So that's what I'm going to go for. I'm actually thinking as well. I'm thinking of putting in this dewy setting spray. So it's the Catrice Prime and Fine setting spray. And, you know, I just feel like the whole mermaid effect, like having really wet looking skin really goes with the theme. So I do want to focus on using this dewy setting spray this month. And I am thinking of rolling this in this month again. Now, I know, I know, I actually had this in February, and I didn't say I liked this. I said that this was meh, you know, and it might have even broke me out a little bit. But after I posted that video, I was like, what was even the point of this again? Because like the only thing I would want a primer for, so I don't actually typically use primers. I don't have primers in my collection. This is the only like sample primer that I have. And I got it because I wanted to get the sample of the setting powder, so this wasn't even something I had really looked into or anything like that. So when I used it in February, I just wanted to see if it did what I would want a primer to do if I used a primer, which is like blurring, and it didn't do that. But after I posted the video, I kind of was like, okay, so what is the purpose of this? And when I looked up online to see what this was for, they actually said that this primer is meant to make the makeup you put on top of it waterproof, which I was like, I didn't realize that. Like, you'd think its name would have something to do with that. But yeah, so given that this is supposed to make makeup waterproof, I just thought it was really fun to put this in the Mermaid Month again, just so that, I could test that out maybe to see if it really does make makeup waterproof. And it's kind of something you'd expect. If a mermaid were to wear makeup, it should be waterproof. So I'm gonna put this in and try that out. I'm also thinking of putting in this single eyeshadow from NYX, um, because it's called Mermaid. It just goes with the theme again, and it is like an iridescent green. So I'm gonna put that in as well. Our basket is getting quite full. Okay, this was a tough decision for the highlighter, but I think I'm gonna go with the Fenty Beauty How Many Carats highlighter. So this highlighter is like a really sparkly white highlighter, and I feel like the pearl white effect would go really well with the theme. And I feel like even though this is a super glittery highlighter, it does give a very beautiful wet effect. And so I'm gonna put this in for this month as well. And sticking with the theme of super glossy wet vibe, I'm going to use this Danessa Myricks Color Fix. It's just like a clear glaze, and it gives a really wet effect for the lips, for the cheeks, for the eyes. So I'm going to roll that in for this month. Okay, as you can see, I struggled a little bit to decide what lipstick. I don't know, I feel like I want to go for a coral lipstick, but I don't own a coral lipstick. And usually to achieve coral, I mix this red and peach shade. So I have this peach shade from MAC, and I mix it with the Ruby Woo True Red shade from MAC. So I could roll these both in, but like literally only use them as a mixture on my lips. I don't know. So these were the two of them kind of layered over top of each other in the center so you can see. But this one's actually looking kind of corally on its own. The corally orange type of shade. And I do have the pink liquid lipstick in my project pan. So I probably could even mix this in with this kind of peachy corally shade to make it lean more into pinky coral if I wanted. So I might do that. I might just go in with this one. So this is from Maybelline, and it's in the shade Honey Pink. So I'm going to put this one in with like knowing that I probably will also mix it with the pink if I want to make more of a corally pink kind of look. But yeah. Wow, okay, this is the fullest this basket has ever been. I think it's just because I added a lot of like additional enhancers like the setting spray, the primer, the gloss, So yeah, but this looks like it's going to be so much fun to play with. Let's go ahead and take these two palettes to my desk, and let's build the custom palette to go with the Emerald palette from Huda Beauty. So this is the full basket of stuff. I'm going to put it at my desk, but I do want to just grab the palette. And I'm going to put back these shades from the previous palette. Okay, so like I said, for this month, I do want some more blues and purples. So what I did is I already put the picture in here, so this is going to be the picture frame palette for this month. I chose the bigger one because I did want to have some more shadows to play with. And can you identify what the scene in the picture frame is from?
Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete?
This is the treasure trove that Princess Ariel had from Disney. I loved Princess Ariel. Like, I feel like my top two princesses, even though they're kind of complete opposites, are Ariel and Belle. I'm like the middle between those two princesses. I love both of them so much. I love Belle because she's just this really smart girl. She goes to protect her dad. She's just such a strong, confident character. And then I love Ariel because her curiosity, her want to like explore the world, and even like her treasure trove. Like, I feel like that resonates so much with me in terms of my makeup collection. Like, my little area of little treasures that just make me happy, like, that definitely resonates. And I love mermaids in general. Like, mermaids are so beautiful. They're one of my favorite fantasy type creatures. So I felt like this month it would be perfect to have the image of her treasure trove printed out. I slipped it into this picture frame. There's a magnetic sheet behind it. As usual, if you're new and you don't know what a picture frame palette is, I'll link my video up above about the concept. But I'm going to go ahead and select eyeshadows to build the custom palette here. And I kind of want to arrange them as if they're sitting on the shelves. I don't know, we'll see depending on how many I choose if there's space to do that, but I thought that would be fun. So I'm going to get right into it. There are a couple blue shades that I know I need to have. The first one is this metallic blue from Give Me Glow, Under the Sea. I mean, isn't that the perfect eyeshadow to put in, the name and everything? So pretty. So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to put the sample that I took of it in just so that I have space in here. And then I kind of do also want this more muted blue. And then I really like this kind of bluey, indigo-y purple shimmer as well. So I'm just going to take that out. And then of course Daydream from Terra Moon's my favorite pastel blue. Okay, for multi-chrome blues, I feel like this shade from Clionadh Seal is just so beautiful. It reminds me of like the sparkles on a lake when it's a really sunny day. So this one is definitely going in. I don't know if I want to put glow in. It's like an iridescent blue. I might. I definitely need to put this shade. This is like mermaid in a shade. It goes from blue to green to purple. It's Luxie from Shine by SD. So I know I need to have this in here. Alright, if we're leaning more into the purples now, I feel like also Revenge by Shine by SD would be a really beautiful mermaidy shade. I don't know, like there's so many purples in here, but I'm trying to think of whether they really would be mermaidy. I want to include this one, but it's pretty much this Luxie over a more muted brown base, so it doesn't make sense to double up. I don't know if I want to include Gargoyle. This could be fun as a liner, as like a deep green, but I also wanted to focus on these deep greens. I think that might be it. Like, I'll see if I want to put anything else again, but let's take a look at some more tones here. So I feel like having Stone, the shade that I was using for the Gothic palette, so this is the Gothic palette, I think having it with these blues would be really helpful, so I am going to take Stone out. And then for like more complementary tones, I do want something that's a little bit sandy, a sandy yellow kind of shade. Yeah, I'm feeling like Dijon from the Natasha Nona Gold palette that I created the dupes of the colors by using color theory. So I think I'm going to put that in as well. And maybe this periwinkle purple that I made when I did the Gimme Glow Cosmetics haul of the primary shades. I feel like periwinkle purple would go really nice here. I do want to use up this blue shade, so I think I'm going to put this deep blue matte in the palette as well. Okay, I might put in Glow from Clionadh after all, just because it does have the blues, it has the purple, so I feel like if I wanted an iridescent inner corner shade that doesn't have the green, at least I'll have an option. And then I took some time to like try to organize this in a way that is still appealing, is not a complete mess. So I'm trying to keep these aligned, but they're still on the shelves of the painting. So that's kind of my thought process. I want to take one last look just to see if anything else in here I want to add. So just to remind ourselves, the color story is going to be both all of these greens and all of these blues and purple. Honestly, I feel like they're really good. Like, I feel like this is a really nice selection for a mermaid theme. Maybe I'll add in this mauve tone because I feel like the purple doesn't have any like transition shade here. I feel like it just got muted from everything else. How about this more vibrant purple? I wasn't planning to add this one in here, but that looks very pink compared to everything else. How about this purple? Yeah, I feel like that's giving me a purple that I needed in here, like a bluey purple. Okay, yeah, I think that's perfect. Alright, so that's it. Those are the shadows that I'm going to play with this month. I am so excited to just play with all of these colors. They're so beautiful. I'm just going to swatch a couple of the multi-chromes. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so much fun. This is Looksy from Shine by SD. As you can see, really vibrant green and purple is, the purple is so beautiful. So you can see the purple there. Really stunning shade. And then CL, a really beautiful soft sky blue with like this gold shine to it. And then we have Revenge. Oh my gosh, this is a mermaid in a shade. I mean, look at that. It's so pretty. Yeah, okay. And then lastly, Glow. For when I want more blue and not as much like green of an iridescent, I'll get to have Glow in there. How pretty. This top row is like my go-to greens. All of these are my favorites. I use them all the time, but I'm excited to also dive into these teals. I don't use them as much, but they're all really beautiful as well. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch this one in the center. Okay, so that's it for my Shop My Stash video. I hope you enjoyed hearing about my thoughts for the last month's theme and that you also enjoyed watching me pick out all of these products as well as build this custom palette. It was a lot of fun, and if you have any ideas or ways to use any of these products, let me know in the comments. I love chatting about that sort of thing. I would love to hear if you have that kind of go-to product that makes you feel like a mermaid. And that's it. If you like this video, please do give it a like. And if you'd like to see more content like this, please do subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!